for the Indiana Hoosiers. They'll travel to Michigan next to end out their 2022 season. Waiting for the whistle. Cindy Mazer going to take the first kick for Indiana. Wampler gets it down the pitch fast, but it does go past the touchline and gives Maryland the ball early on.
It'll be interesting to see how aggressive these teams are coming out, especially like Evan said, with the cold temperatures out. Indiana looking like they're trying to be the more aggressive team early on, though.
Definitely, and it's definitely been shown as the season has gone on. Indiana's tried to be a little bit more aggressive on offense to try to get something in the back of the net. It worked against Purdue. They'll see if it works against the Terrapins as well. Madeline Smith starting in goal for Maryland, the senior from Omaha, Nebraska. She's played in 11 games, started 10 this season, has allowed 14 goals, has 38 saves and 2 shutouts on the season. Has definitely been their go-to goalkeeper. It's a little bit of back and forth play early on. Kind of what you expect, both offenses trying to break down the defense as best as possible.
And these offenses are going to have to be patient, too. I mean, obviously, soccer is a very long game, 90 minutes, 2 45-minute halves. So, you know, not every possession is going to end up with the opportunity to score. It's just really going to be about trying to break down the defense and trying to find gaps and cracks that they can exploit.
And Indiana slowing it down a whole lot. You mentioned they were aggressive on the first kick, but trying to slow it down what they have been doing at the start of the season, and their bread and butter is defense. Erwin Van Bennekom is a defensive specialist. He was at Duke before he came to Indiana as well. Maryland with a really good opportunity, but the kick is just too high.
And already Indiana's defense starting to give up a couple of opportunities. I mean, that was the first really good look that either team has had so far. And fortunately for Indiana, it went over the crossbar, but Indiana's really going to need to fortify that the back line if they want to keep Maryland from having scoring opportunities.
Yeah, and that was Alyssa Porch, a graduate forward from Middletown, Delaware. Talked about her a little bit in the pre-show, how she's second on the team with 3 goals. And Madeline Smith gets it out just in time before any Hoosiers can get to it. Now Maryland taking their opportunity to slow it down.
This is where Indiana needs to be aggressive right here. Maryland in their back third of the field. Unfortunately, they weren't able to force Maryland to turn it over as they do right there, though. But you need to be aggressive in that back third, because if Maryland has a miscue, you're in prime position to try to make an attack on goal.
Gonna call a foul there.
Foul, Indiana.
Maryland will be awarded the first free kick of the match. Malike Days will take this free kick. Here's a replay of that. Just kind of shoved her hip into her a little bit too hard there. That foul's on freshman Abby Eiler, another freshman that has had a big presence on this Indiana team, had 2 goals against Trine earlier in the season.
And that was one of Indiana's 2 wins on the season. They haven't won a game in 36 days, so Indiana really desperate to try to get a win here tonight.
Paige Weber is going to get called on the offsides as the flag goes up.
Offside, Indiana.
Another thing that the Hoosiers have struggled with a little bit, want to get into the back of the net or get really excited to get those goals, as it has been an issue so far this season. But yeah, Indiana's still looking for that first conference win. They only have 2 more chances to get that win.
And they had a really good opportunity against Purdue, too. Found themselves up 2-1 towards the middle part of the second half in that game, and just weren't able to close out. Erwin Van Bennekom told us that they really should have had that. And, you know, from a certain perspective, that's true. And you know, it's a learning experience, so this is a young group, so hopefully the Hoosiers can learn from that and figure out a way to close games whenever they're up in the second half.
Milham throwing it in for the Hoosiers. Good pass there by Kalen, but did get intercepted by a Maryland player. Milham gets another chance at a throw-in, though. A good spot to throw in for the Hoosiers.
And you can see all the players standing now inside the penalty box for the exception of 4 Indiana players. They're going to go for it right here.
Gets it in. Looks like Wampler got a head on it, but Smith got to it before it got to the net.
It was a good look by Indiana. That's exactly what you need to start out the game. Believe that might go down as a shot on goal and a save for Maryland. But Indiana needs to stay that aggressive as they move into that back third for Maryland.
Yeah, you mentioned how Indiana had a good chance to win that game against Purdue on Sunday. And a big reason was that they held possession for most of the match. So something that definitely, if they could do tonight, they could come away with it. And if Maryland can keep Indiana from keeping possession, they have a really good chance to take one away in Bloomington.
And we're seeing that so far. Indiana has had possession for a majority of the game up to this point, given we've only been playing for just over 6 minutes. But so far, Indiana has been in control of this game on the offensive end.
Maryland's going to get a throw in there.
Again, this is where Indiana is going to need to be aggressive defensively. You talk about Erwin Van Bennekom being a defensive-minded person. We're going to see just how Indiana is able to take this ball away.
Olivia Rush intercepts that ball. It looks like that is going to be a shot by Abby Eiler. Decently easy save for Madeline Smith, though. Not quite enough power on that kick, but here's a replay of it. Definitely, like you said, being a lot more aggressive on offense early on.
And that was a good save by Smith, too. You know, didn't try to do anything too fancy, just waited on the ball to come right to her.
Outside, Indiana.
Indiana gets another offside, the second one of the match. Early on.
It looks like we have a stoppage for a tied shoe. You don't see that too often.
2 tied shoes.
What a good teammate.
Don't see that very often.
Malike Day is going over to tie Smith's shoe. Actually, a really good idea because, you know, you don't want to take off the goalie gloves. I was wondering why she wasn't tying her shoe, and then it occurred to me, it was like, yeah, she's got goalie gloves on. That might be a little bit difficult with the tiny shoelaces.
And now we're going to get started again. Just a little stop at a time for some teamwork. Really good deflection there by Indiana as Paige Weber is going to take it. She's going to get all the way into the box and take the shot. It's saved by Smith. Smith already having to make 3 saves early on. A good look for the Hoosiers. And they got 3 shots. All of them have been on goal.
First of all, look at this move right here by Weber. Absolutely incredible. Was able to put Days on skates. Had a really good shot at it too, but unfortunately for Indiana, Smith was waiting on it.
Caroso with it, tried to get it up to Porch, but Maryland is going to get called offsides. There's Erwin Van Bennekom wearing his pink gloves for the pink out.
Yeah, pink out night tonight here in Bloomington. Something good that both teams can come together over the battle over breast cancer. And you love to see all the support here from the Indiana Hoosiers tonight wearing the pink socks here in Bloomington.
Mazer takes it away quickly from the Terrapins. Indiana really good on just getting the ball back super quickly after they give it away. Have really only given it away on throw-ins.
And that's the defensive mindset that Indiana brings to the table.
Rush trying to get it up to Bennett. It's going to fall back to Eiler. Eiler can't quite get to it in time to save it in, so it's going to be a goal kick for Smith.
And I think she got pushed down just a little bit. It's just a tough break for Indiana. Now they're going to have to use that defensive mindset, try to get the ball back.
It's like a little bit of a push off. Eiler was upset about that one. Asked the referee why there wasn't a foul, but regardless, play on. Nice shot by keeping it in by DeRosa. Maryland has a good run, but Megan Wampler tracking that ball down. And Indiana is going to get the throw in.
Again, watch for Indiana to slowly move the ball up the field, making sure that they keep track and keep the ball as long as they really possibly can.
Long shot easily caught by Gerstenberg. Maryland trying to catch Indiana off guard a little bit, taking the long shots outside of the box. Haven't really had the opportunity to get into the box, so they've been forced to shoot outside. But Indiana's defense doing a good job keeping them out of the box.
This will be a good opportunity right here for Indiana on the throw, and we saw this earlier whenever Indiana put, I believe, 6 people in the penalty box early on. We'll see just what happens here on this throw-in.
Ham gets it into the box again. That one is going to be headed. Almost kicked in by Wampler. But well defended by the Terrapins.
And if Wampler got a solid foot on that, that probably would have went into the net. Unfortunately for Wampler, just wasn't able to get a foot on it. Probably the best potential opportunity Indiana had. Unfortunately for the Hoosiers, though, Wampler just wasn't able to get solid contact.
Once again, Indiana immediately gets back the ball. Eiler getting it up to Ham, but Ham loses it past the touch line.
And Samantha, we were talking before the game about what each team needs to do in order to put some goals on the board. And what my thought is just it's going to be of who can capitalize on that opportunity first. And from the way it's looking right now, Indiana has been the more aggressive team so far. 3 shots on goal compared to 1. For Maryland, so it's just a matter of time before Indiana finds the net.
Definitely knocking on that door early on. Good blocking there by Days to give Maryland the opportunity for a goal kick. Malike Days, number 17, and Michaela Days, number 28, the twins from Brampton, Ontario. Both are graduate students in their 6th year at Maryland, have been with this program for a long time.
And Malike was actually on the 2019 All Big Ten tournament team too, so Day is a very solid player in her own right. You've also got to think that having your sister on a team just makes you work that much harder too. You know, you have somebody who you've grown up with your entire life, you've been on this journey, and you know, just having somebody that not only that you can go to work with and know that you have the full trust in, but somebody who you can just talk to, not just about soccer, but just about life.
Definitely, and it's so awesome that they've gotten the opportunity to play college soccer together this long, and such a cool opportunity for them.
And that has to make her parents proud, too, both of their parents.
Definitely. Eiler gets it up to Bennett. Bennett tries to get it back off to Eiler, but gets taken away. That was Lena Stahl with the ball. Stahl leads Maryland with 4 goals on the season, the transfer from West Virginia. Missed pass there, though, but plays it off nicely and gets it right back. Indiana once again, though, really keeping the Terrapins out of the box. Just as I say that, they do get in. Maybe the best chance if they can work aggressively, but Indiana just keeps clearing it out.
And Indiana's right in the passing lanes of Maryland, too. They are right where they need to be on defense. That's a good thing to see if you're Indiana, and it forces a Maryland turnover.
Another throw in for the Hoosiers.
Indiana's going to have a good opportunity there, but just as we say that, Indiana turns it over.
Indiana once again trying to be aggressive, but ball bounces to Smith before they have the opportunity.
Madeline Smith in her 3rd stop on her college tour, played at Lake Tahoe Community College and then played last season at Omaha. And this season now playing for the Terps against Minnesota just last week. Had a save but allowed 2 goals playing the full 90 minutes.
Bennett tries to get it upfield, but Maryland is right on that one. Milham tracking it down with the tackle. Goes off of her first. Maryland trying to work quick.
It looked like there just wasn't anything there. Maryland tried to go quick. Great tackle there by Camille Ham, though, sliding in to kick that one out of bounds and stop the Maryland advance.
Yeah, definitely. And while they try to figure this out, we're going to send it down to our sideline reporter, Evan Camico. Evan?
Yeah, Sam, you and Cruz were talking a little bit before about family, and while it might not be actual family, a lot of people consider an actual team a family. In this case, Coach Van Bennekom, we all know before Indiana, he was at Duke from 14 to 2017. While on the other side, assistant coach and goalkeepers coach for Maryland, Katie Ely, was at Duke as well from 2010 to 2011. So just an interesting connection that you talk about family. And, well, they're duking it out on the sideline right now, and Coach Van Bennekom, he doesn't look too happy about that call. Sam, back to you.
Thanks, Evan. Nice pun there. Had a few stoppages. But Indiana getting the ball back quickly.
Indiana really trying to be aggressive right there. And unfortunately for the Hoosiers, just not able to get anything going. But now Indiana's where they're comfortable, just slowly building from the back and slowly advancing up the field.
Each team just trying to get the defense as unsteady as possible. Both don't seem to be breaking early on.
There's still plenty of game left, though, and we've seen a couple of times where the defense has allowed some shots on goal. We've already had 4 total in this game. So this game definitely a long way from over.
No, it's just I'm trying to find like where the ball is going without.
Maryland gets it back. Porch with the ball for the Terrapins. Tries to cross it in, but like you said, Cruz, especially Cindy Mazer has just been in the middle of the pass line just about every time.
And that's just another example of Erwin Van Bennekom's defensive mindset.
Paige Weber trying to get it, but Malike Days gets to it first. Indiana recovering well, though. It's going to get it into the box, and that is going to be a shot by Anna Bennett. And it's going to have to be saved by Smith, and it goes off the fingertips to give Indiana a corner.
You can see the athleticism for Smith stretching out to get it. Let's take another look at this one. First of all, what a great strike by Bennett. And was just off target, but ensuring that Indiana wasn't going to get a shot at it. Madeline Smith with another save. That's her 4th of the game so far.
Anna Bennett taking the corner for the Hoosiers. Her goal against Purdue was off a corner, not assisted. It went in right off the corner, so that one goes in, but is snatched right away by Smith.
Smith in the right place at the right time, didn't try to bat it away, made sure that she had control of it. And her, no, not her 5th save, but definitely some insurance right there for Maryland. Instead of giving Indiana an opportunity to maybe get a shot later in the possession, they end the possession right there and have it going the other way.
Maryland playing it in the back line a little bit. Gets it all the way up to Porch. Porch with a good opportunity and looks to be tripped there by Zoe Tiger. A free kick for Maryland just outside the box.
And Indiana's defense gave that up. They were playing up just a little too much, and Porch was able to get behind the line and was trying to chase it down. And now Indiana's defense is going to have to hold strong if they don't want to give up a goal.
Great opportunity for Maryland to get a free kick right here. Indiana was lucky that wasn't just a few more inches closer. It would have been a penalty kick. But regardless, Maryland still with a great opportunity to try to get it around this Indiana defense.
Right, so obviously.
Not sure who's going to take this one. 3 Terrapins setting up for it. Possibly a fake out here, and that's going to be deflected by Indiana right away. DeRosa was the one who took that kick. Throw in for Maryland, though, keeping it on Indiana's side of the pitch. Got some substitutions. Ava Morales coming in for the Terrapins. Indiana's Ava Akil and Olivia Smith and Natasha Kim all coming in. As Anna Bennett, Abby Eiler, and Sophia Black are going to take a breather on the bench. Olivia Smith in the game. We talked about her before the broadcast a little bit, scoring her first career goal against Purdue.
Offside. Maryland.
Maryland with another offside. Maryland wanted to get it back to the back line, and Indiana attacking on that fast. But the Terrapins do get out of it. It's Michaela Days.
Another beautiful tackle right there by Camille Ham to boot that one away.
Now Maryland getting the opportunity for a corner kick.
Got lucky she wasn't called for a foul right there, though. Made some contact with the shin of Michaela Days. Indiana's defense is going to have to hold strong here once again.
Corner is up, and Morales tried to get a shot off. That is going to be counted as a shot and blocked by Indiana. Maryland working quickly. Had a lot more opportunities as the first half goes on. Feeling out the Indiana defense a little bit more each minute.
You can see just how swarming Indiana's defense is right there on that takeaway. Fortunately, their offense just not able to complement their defense so far tonight.
Paige Weber almost breaking away there.
The Hoosiers defense, again, keep talking about it. Look at that. They just pushed Maryland all the way back into the goal box. It just shows you just how good Indiana's defense is.
Great tackle there by Tiger, looks like. Tiara Turnage.
And she took a shot to the face right here.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely can't feel good, especially with how cold it is too, you know. Face is probably going a little bit numb at this point, and you know, probably not feeling it all, but I mean, you know what it's like whenever you take a hit while you're cold, and it stings a little bit. So fortunately, it looks like she's okay.
Definitely. She gets up and is going to play through it. Kirstenberg with a long boot. Maryland turns it over, turning it back to them almost immediately. Tried to get a shot off quickly.
Easy save by Jamie Gerstenberg. Preseason player to watch in the Big Ten. Two-time Big Ten co-goalkeeper of the week. Actually started the season for Indiana with 8 straight shutouts. Very impressive number.
Yeah, Lena Stahl almost had a good look there. Talked about her a little bit, the transfer from West Virginia was on the All Big 12 first team last season. Indiana played West Virginia early in the year, really good program. Indiana making it up the pitch with throw-ins. Weber tries to save it. He's unable to do so, though, and Madeline Smith with another goal kick. Game has really slowed down here in the past few minutes. Neither team getting a lot of opportunities offensively. What we expected, especially in the first half, not as desperate to get on the board. Each team has 4 shots each.
And Indiana started out pretty aggressive in the first, I believe, 10 minutes or so. They had 3 shots on goal, but over the course of the last 20, not a whole lot of offense coming from either side. Just one shot on goal for each of those teams in the last 20 minutes. So part of that is the defensive effort by both of these teams, though. It seems like both of these teams are very defensive oriented. And like I said earlier, whoever has the opportunities, it's all about who can capitalize on it first.
Hazer with, once again, another block. Does grant Maryland a throw in, but just feels like she's been in the right place at the right time on defense so far.
Maryland almost had a shot right there. Just bad contact by the Terrapins on the potential shot. Another opportunity that Maryland could have had.
It was another opportunity for Maryland, but no Terrapins in the box to grab that one.
And that's both the passer's fault and the receiver's fault. You know, you make the pass thinking that somebody's going to be there, but you also have to make sure you see somebody running there. And on the receiver end, once you see that pass go up, that's your ball. You have to go after it. You know, you can't just allow a lazy turnover like that if you're Maryland.
Foul, Maryland.
Foul called on the Terrapins. Indiana with a free kick. Megan Wampler gonna take it for the Hoosiers.
Well,
The foul was on Michaela Days. It's all the way in the box, but lands right in the hands of Madeline Smith.
Smith having a really good day so far. 4 shots for Indiana, all of them on goal, and Smith has been right there for each and every one of them.
Michaela Days with it. Trying to get past Rush, and she does. Taken away by Kaylin.
Go, go, go.
Natasha! Natasha! Get open!
Maryland having a substitution. Hallie Johnson coming into the game. Transfer from UNC Wilmington. Coming out is Sydney Urban. Transfer from Florida. Talked about a lot of transfers in this game. Maryland with 10 transfers on this team and 9 freshmen, so 19 newcomers on this Maryland team. All learning how to play with each other for the first year.
Go. Good move, good move, go.
Natasha Kim almost gets it to Olivia Rush for the cross, but can't quite get to it. Will give Indiana a corner kick, though.
That was a beautiful setup. Indiana just in the wrong place. Just a little bit too far in. That shot, or that pass across, was just a little bit higher than they were expecting. But take a look at the placement. Almost perfect. And it was Madeline Smith who got a hand and deflected it. So the pass was actually, it looked like it was dead on line, but Madeline Smith getting her hand on it and forcing Indiana to take a corner.
Lena Kalin taking the corner for Indiana. And Smith just lays on it before anybody can get to it. Smart decision on her part.
Smith is definitely getting her work cut out for her today. Being very active inside the box, but she's doing a fantastic job of making sure that Indiana doesn't get any easy opportunities in their attacking third.
Wisconsin tried to pass it forward inside the box.
And once again, it was Indiana's defense in the passing lanes forcing that turnover.
Keep going! Bates, go! AP, can you find this space behind? Go!
Now Olivia Rush controlling it for Indiana. Tried to get the pass to Akil. Akil did block it before Maryland could clear it, but Indiana getting it back almost immediately.
We can hear Erwin Van Bennekom from where we're sitting at right now telling Olivia Rush to play up a little bit on the defensive side, trying to force Maryland to make a mistake in the attacking third of Indiana. And like you saw, they did. Unfortunately for the Hoosiers, though, it was further upfield than Coach Van Bennekom was hoping for.
And our Evan Kamiko is on the sidelines with a little bit more on Indiana's communication on the sidelines. Evan?
When Coach Van Bennekom screaming, press, 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 telling the team to push up, because communication on the field for them is something that they've been struggling with all season. And he really attributes that a little bit to the band as well, something that you don't always hear. Usually the band's in your favor, but now sometimes it's just not. Sam, I'll let you get right back to the action.
Paige Weber almost with a good opportunity there. Does get a shot off, but it's blocked by Days.
Substitutions entering the game for Maryland. Number 8, Sophie Venus.
Some substitutions for Indiana. Jordan Levy coming in for the Hoosiers. And so does Izzy Smith. Izzy Smith, another freshman that has had some good offensive opportunities for Indiana, but has failed to get anything in the back of the goal in her first year as a Hoosier. Paige Weber and Sydney Mazer both had huge impacts in the first half, are going to take a seat on the bench. Jordan Levy, another player that came in, also had 2 goals against Trine, was on the Big Ten Players to Watch list at the beginning of the season. Had 4 goals for the Hoosiers last year. Erwin Van Bennekom was been trying to have her as an offensive spark off the bench. But like we've talked about multiple times, it's been a struggle for Indiana to find ways to get the ball in the net.
And it's a struggle that is really going to hurt you, you know, the fact that it's just so hard to score in the game of soccer in general. But you also struggled more than most teams. It's really going to hurt you. You know, you can hang your hat on defense, but at the end of the day, it's offense that scores points and wins games. So Indiana's defense can only take them so far.
One of the Maryland substitutions, Mia Isaac coming in for Michaela Days.
Got to give a little credit down there to Evan Kamiko there on the save just a second ago, staying active with the hands.
Yeah, he's been the kind of the ball boy on the sidelines for a lot of the game.
He's got to be careful with those gloves that he's wearing tonight, though. He definitely can't mess those up. Some nice pair of gloves that he has on tonight.
Maryland now controlling, trying to get around Indiana's defense. Cannot do it again as Kim is forced to clear it past the touchline.
And I said it once, I've said it twice, I've probably said it way more times than that, but I'll say it again. Indiana again in the passing lanes. Very good defensive night so far for Indiana, being in the right place at the right time whenever they've needed it most.
We're almost through the first half here at Bill Armstrong Stadium as another substitution for Maryland. Brooke Weston gonna come in. She's coming in for Juliana Lynch.
And this will be interesting to see. Weston played only 4 minutes the other day against Minnesota, getting in late in the first half. Might be a substitution just to rest a couple of the starters, but who knows? Maybe we'll see some more minutes from her in the second half as well.
Yeah, maybe having the mentality that this one feels a little bit like it's going to be locked up 0-0 going into halftime. But now Maryland with a really good opportunity with a corner to maybe try to prove me wrong.
Second corner kick of the night for Maryland. This is the best opportunity I think they've had so far.
The corner does get into the box. Getting out of it, but falling to Waterman. Lena Kalin on that one, making sure Gerstenberg gets the opportunity for a goal kick. Like you mentioned, a good opportunity for Maryland, and we've seen that they've had a lot more at the end of the second half, and for them, gonna try to bring that momentum into the second half and adjust some things at halftime.
And it seems like they've settled in just a little bit. Early on, it was a little chaotic, especially with Indiana trying to push the pace to start the game. But now that they've had a little bit of time to kind of get a feel for the game, it seems like they're starting to settle in on the offensive end.
Indiana will get an opportunity to have the corner now. As Days tried to save it, but could not. Now Indiana a chance to put the first one on the board. Kalin taking the corner once again. Gets it off and falls on to the foot of Olivia Smith. Goes above the goal, but was deflected by someone on Maryland. I couldn't exactly see it.
I believe that was number 2, Ava Morales, the 5'4" freshman from Clarksville, Maryland, getting her foot on that one.
Kalin with another opportunity. Jordan Levy trying to get to it. Falls back to Ava Akil. Indiana tried to set up another opportunity, but instead, Maryland is going to have a chance to take over.
2 good looks right there for Indiana. Again, not able to capitalize, though. That's been the story so far. And nobody's been able to capitalize on their opportunities that they've had. And that's why we find ourselves tied up 0-0.
Under 3 minutes left. Indiana gonna try to get a really good strike or attack attempt. Being patient with the ball. You mentioned, Cruz, that would be key in this matchup. Both teams that have struggled a little bit offensively. Definitely being patient so far. Indiana with a lot of opportunities, and Maryland also with some good opportunities of their own, especially with their corner kicks. Having a free kick right outside of the penalty box. But like you mentioned, both teams unable to capitalize on the opportunities that were essentially have been given to them. Akil getting it up to Izzy Smith. It's a bad pass, though. Olivia Smith does give it off to Ham, though. Jordan Levy trying to get to it.
Go, go.
So is Natasha Kim. And Izzy Smith seems to be tripped up in the box. And Indiana sideline seemed pretty unhappy about that one.
She got caught up with Krista Waterman right there, and plenty of contact. Soccer is a contact sport, though, and you know, just you don't get every call. It's unfortunate sometimes, depending on whose side you're on. But at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. You still got some time to make something happen.
Yeah, definitely was not intentional by any means. Could see trying to get out of the way a little bit so that didn't happen, and kind of just stumbled. She stumbled over her own feet a little bit, so that's the reason for the no call.
This will more than likely be the last good attempt for somebody to score here in the first half. And corner kick for Indiana. This might be the punch that they need to go into the locker room, potentially up 1-0 if they can get a good setup right here.
Yeah, the clock is ticking. 20 seconds for Indiana to get an opportunity. Erwin Van Bennekom
10 seconds.
yelling at the team to try to get in good position with 10 seconds left to get it in the back of the net. The kick is up, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit too far out to get a kick off it, but Camille Ham does try, but skied over the goal, and we are going into halftime tied up 0-0. Indiana and Maryland both kind of equal for the most part, and has been able to really capitalize off of them and have a really close opportunity. A lot of corner kicks that just didn't really amount to anything. Indiana had 5 corner kicks, but wasn't able to get much off. Alina Stahl will take the kick for Maryland, and they will control to start the second half. Looking to be aggressive early on, something they didn't do in the first half.
And the first half is really a tale of two separate kind of ways of play. So Indiana started off the first half very aggressive. They seemed to control the tempo of the game. And then Maryland, in the second part of the first half, was able to control the ball just a little bit more. Yeah, they turned it over quite a few times. Indiana's defense was stellar in terms of takeaways, but Maryland kept the ball on their half of the field for a majority of the second part of the first half. So it'll be interesting to see which team is more aggressive opening the second half.
Definitely, and we also talked about at the end of the first half a little bit that Maryland kind of seems like they're getting a little bit more comfortable on the pitch against Indiana and kind of figuring out the Indiana defense a little bit more. Early in the first half, they were struggling to even get anywhere near the box, were forced to take shots well outside and didn't get any really good looks, but inched closer and closer to the goal as the match went on. And they'll be hoping to build off of that momentum in the second half. Going to be a foul on Maryland as Ava Akil falls to the ground. Here's a replay of that.
A little bit of contact there.
Seemed to just kind of fall into her. But free kick for the Hoosiers nonetheless at midfield.
Indiana trying to get organized right here. Taking a little while for them to get set up, though.
Ball falls back to Olivia Rush after the free kick. A really good defense by the Terrapins, and now Alyssa Porch is going to have it. Almost immediately taken away by Wampler, and they're going to call a foul as Wampler collided with, I believe that was Alina Stahl.
And there was a lot of contact there, and I'm honestly, I really thought that the foul was called on Wampler initially. However, the referees thought otherwise, and Indiana's going to be taking it back the other way.
Another free kick for the Hoosiers right on that midfield line. Indiana once again just getting the ball right back, being really quick to turn it around. And if the Hoosiers can get better on transition, they'd have a really good opportunity to score a goal. Haven't been able to really get anything on transition, and mostly everything has had to be set up. But I've had a lot of opportunities to get something going on the transition.
Yeah, they've had a couple of opportunities, and, you know, give credit to Maryland's transition defense. You got to give credit where credit's due. The Terrapins have been able to deny Indiana any easy opportunities in transition. There's another side of that coin, though. Indiana's offense has been a little bit individually ran, I would say, in transition. It's really been one person trying to take it all the way instead of maybe going in something a little bit more semi-transition-like, where you kind of, you know, you get on the run, you kind of back it out a little bit, wait for somebody to make a cut towards the goal and maybe hit them instead. Still is a fast-paced movement, but it's also a little bit more structured.
Days almost with a really good opportunity. Caitlin is going to clear it out, but it is going to go past the end line to give Maryland the opportunity for a corner kick. Probably the first really good opportunity to get a set piece for either team in the second half. The first corner of the half. Juliana Lynch taking the goal, or the corner kick, has had 1 goal and 3 assists. This season, was also a transfer from West Virginia. Corner's cleared out by Anna Bennett. Zoe Tiger tries to clear it out again, and it's finally cleared out by Alana Kalin.
And there's the Indiana defense once again in the right place at the right time. Also making very good decisions. Indiana was trying to get it out of there on the ground, and finally Indiana just had to boot it up into the air and hope for the best. And it does stay with Maryland, but you're able to avoid giving Maryland potentially a takeaway and an easy shot on goal.
Days calling for the ball, really close to Jamie Gerstenberg, but no one's able to get it to her. And Indiana will take over control. Kalin trying to get it up to Paige Weber. The pass was a little too hard, but it does fall back on Bennett as Bennett is dragged to the ground. And another foul will be called on Maryland. That one's called on Lynch. Yeah, just gets her right arm a little bit and drags her to the ground. All Indiana's free kicks have been good ways away from the goal, though. But still opportunity for the Hoosiers to set something up.
And it's looking like Indiana's going to go with a deep ball right here. They have Megan Wampler ready to strike this one, and you've got 5 Indiana players standing in a line over near the goalie box.
Yeah, they also ended up having that foul be a yellow card on Juliana Lynch. Now Maryland will get the ball back. It's going to be a foul on the Hoosiers. Madeline Smith going to take the kick, the free kick outside of Maryland's own box. Good read there by Days, but it's stolen away immediately by Indiana. And once again, just this back and forth, neither team really being able to hold on to it, and they're going to call Paige Weber on the foul as Lynch falls to the ground.
Taking a look at that possession, though, for Indiana, it was a great takeaway. Again, you were talking about that back and forth. Indiana had 2 takeaways right there. Just weren't able to really clear it. But again, right place in the right time for the Indiana defense, right where they need to be. And again, just unable to capitalize on it.
Hannah Bennett keeps it inbounds, but it lands to Schaefer. But now the Hoosiers will get a throw in.
Just
on
led
the corner, though, yeah.
Just led Michaela Days just a little too far. And those are the things that Maryland's going to need to improve on if they want to become a better team, not just to end the year, but also going into next year.
Now Porch trying to get a shot off, but too far left. It's been the storyline for Maryland, taking a lot of shots outside of the box, just haven't really been on target. Jamie Gerstenberg hasn't really had to do anything in net. Has had to make 2 saves, but haven't been any major saves for Gerstenberg. Both teams just trying to get the deep passes, but it's not working for either of them because each defense just seems to be getting in the way.
Yeah, we haven't talked a whole lot about Maryland's defense, but Maryland's defense has actually been holding up pretty nicely so far, given that's part of the reason because of that is because Indiana is a defensive-minded team as well. But Maryland has also had a lot of good takeaways, especially here to begin the second half.
Yeah, they struggled a little bit early on in the first half, like we mentioned, has really settled in. But in the first half, gave Indiana a lot of opportunities on offense and have not let them have the same opportunities in the second half. Really got things together at halftime and the end of the first half. And it looks like Juliana Lynch is slow to get up.
Hey, let's go. Come on, guys.
Here's a replay of what happened there. As her and Izzy Smith kind of just got tangled up and looks like was jumping on one leg. Stays in the game though. And it's gonna play it through.
And she took a hit to the Achilles right there, the right Achilles. Just got kicked in the back of the leg, and nothing malicious really, at least it seemed from that play. Just a missed strike there by Izzy Smith.
Paige, no reason. Free kick. Come on, Kirk, let's go. Let's go, Black.
Days gets it upfield. Taking it back though. Michaela Days now with it. Got the kick past Kaylin, but rolls right to Jamie Gerstenberg.
Gerstenberg seeing her first action in quite a while. Good thing probably for Gerstenberg that it happened though, keeping her active, and now she's starting to get involved in the game a little bit more, starting to direct traffic. And this is what Gerstenberg is good at, being a leader. Obviously one of the best players on this Indiana team. She is in a unique position being a goalkeeper, but doesn't mean that you can't lead your team. And she does a good job of directing traffic, especially in order to slow the game down and get Indiana playing at the pace they want to be playing at.
Was a big reason why Indiana had so many 0-0 draws at the beginning of the season. We have talked about the offensive woes, but the defense has stood strong. And especially in the non-conference season, Indiana does have 7 draws on the season.
Good seal.
Does have more draws than losses, the 2, 6, and 7 record. 2 of those in Big Ten play, though. Started struggling a little bit more once conference play picked up. Started off conference play with a 0-0 draw against Penn State, who was ranked number 8 at the time, and dropped some big ones on the road.
And I think it kind of started to go downhill just a little bit for Indiana after what happened up in Madison with Gerstenberg's red card. Caused her to miss that the rest of that game and the next game against Ohio State. And Indiana was actually tied with the Badgers at that point until Gerstenberg's red card. After that, the Badgers came out and within the next 10 minutes scored 2 goals to put that game away. And Indiana really never recovered. And that started the losing streak that Indiana just ended the other day.
Maryland shot taken by number 7, Porch. Substitution
Alyssa
for
Porch
Maryland into the game is
getting a
number
shot off.
2, Morales replacing number 13.
Ava Morales coming in for it, Catherine DeRosa. Ava Morales started her first game on Sunday against Minnesota. And we're going to toss it back down to sideline reporter Evan Kamiko. Evan?
Sam, you talked already about how good Gerstenberg's been on net, and I gave a little history lesson earlier that I want to expand on right now. In the draw at the game last year, Gerstenberg actually set the school record for the most shutouts in a single season. So this Maryland team already knew how good Jamie Gerstenberg's been, and right now the more action she gets, the more that she's showing how good of a goalie that she is. Sam?
Thanks, Evan. Definitely a player that gets talked about in just about every broadcast here at Bill Armstrong Stadium and across the Big Ten. Indiana substitutions coming on. Sophia Black and Sydney Mazer coming on for Anna Bennett and Izzy Smith.
And you talk about Jamie Gerstenberg. Through her entire career, 83 saves. That's not including tonight. She has added 2 more saves to that total. At this point last year, I believe she had 34 or so saves on the season. And already at this point, this season, 47, now 49 saves on the year. So Gerstenberg just keeps improving year after year here with the Hoosiers. And when she returns next year, she's going to be even more of a menace to opposing offenses than she was this year. And that's saying a lot.
Definitely the more experience she gets in college soccer, the better. Has a lot of experience at the international level, playing over in Germany, in her home country. About 15 minutes into the second half. Neither team having as much opportunities as they had in the first half. You mentioned it's going to be interesting to see which team was going to be aggressive coming out of halftime, and neither team has been more aggressive than the other. Both teams kind of just playing back and forth, not able to hold possession for very long.
And one part of the reason is because neither team has really tried to slow down the pace. Both teams are trying to get downhill very quickly and try to get past the defensive lines of the opposing team in a bit of a hurry, which, to be quite honest, I'm not sure what the purpose of that is. They've tried it all night, and for neither team it's worked. You know, and Indiana has more shots on goal than Maryland does, and it still hasn't worked for them. Most of the shots on goal for Indiana have come from just kind of not really slowing it down, but just coming in the single third, the attacking third of the field. It has not really been in transition.
A really good takeaway by Amanda Schaefer, but it's taken away by Megan Wampler. Maryland getting possession back as Porch has it. Tries to get into the cross, but just no one there to take it from her.
Foul.
Ava Keel falls to the ground. It's going to be a foul. Gerstenberg is going to take the free kick herself. Here's a replay of that.
Looks like she got her foot stepped on, and that's what caused Akil to go down to the ground. Nothing looked intentional there, but there was contact made, although a fair bit of weak contact, but still a foul nonetheless.
Sophia Black with a good run to give Indiana the opportunity to get a corner kick. Indiana's first corner kick of the second half.
For Indiana, entering the game, number 19, Abby Eiler, replacing number 20.
Abby Eiler is coming in for Paige Weber now for the Hoosiers.
Taking the corner for your Hoosiers, number 29, Alina Hayward.
Good opportunity here for Indiana. First good opportunity of the second half. We'll see what they can draw up here.
Weber getting into the box. He gets to Sophia Black and gets around about 3 Maryland players before it does get to Smith, but Smith getting on top of that one quickly.
And it was a good heads-up play by Smith. There were 3 Maryland defenders that ball got by that it probably shouldn't have. And, I mean, it wasn't like it was a mistimed kick or anything. It wasn't like it had odd timing to it. It was a pretty fluid play, and Maryland just in the wrong place at the wrong time, had a couple of unlucky bounces, but fortunately for the Terps, Smith right there to save that one.
Really good offense there by Days, just getting around any Indiana defender that gets in her way.
And this is the most aggressive I think we've seen Maryland all night.
Schaefer takes the shot, but an easy save for Gerstenberg. A lot of the shots by both teams just haven't had a whole lot of power behind them, and a big reason why none of them have gone in the back of the net. Some of them are either too far away or just not getting a good enough foot on it, and has definitely been the difference in this match.
Yeah, it's hard to score when you don't have clean looks. Sometimes you get lucky and you get one that will trickle into the net, but most of the time that's not the case. And so if you want to have a shot at winning this game, you're going to have not just solid shots, but also open shots. A lot of the shots that we've seen tonight have been coming with multiple players in front of the net. We just saw that one from Sophia Black. That one was an anomaly because it just kind of pinballed its way towards the net. But for the most part, most of the shots have been pretty well defended.
Exactly, and when we talked to Erwin Van Bennekom earlier this week, he said that a lot of goals, most goals are made off of mistakes. You have to make a mistake on defense to allow a goal, and because we talked about the corner goal that Indiana had against Purdue on Sunday, and he just mentioned that you can only score goals if the defense has mistakes, and both of these defense have not had mistakes. So it's definitely been a big part of this match, and we knew that going into this, that it was probably going to be a defensive matchup, and one offense was going to try to have to catch a defense off guard. Indiana with a corner. Falls to Anna Black, or Sophia Black. Just goes high over the goal.
And Erwin Van Bennekom was correct whenever he was talking about how the defense has to make a mistake in order for a team to score a goal. Most of the time, actually, I guess all the time, that's what we were talking about there. You know, people get open because you kind of lose track of your coverages. You know, somebody finds themselves open, it's because nobody's really covering them. And not only that, if you have an open shot at the goal, it's because nobody's standing in between the person who's shooting the ball and the goal. So, you know, goals don't just happen. There's a reason why they happen. And it's not just because of luck. It's because either the offense is just that good or the defense has just made a mistake. So, you know, it's just something you get that you figure out really from watching the game and learning from it.
Number 5, Cam Fisher coming in for Maryland. Azalina Stahl will take a breather on the bench. Fisher came in immediately and got fouled. So Maryland has a free kick at midfield. Cam Fisher has 1 goal on 7 shots this season. Transfer from UTEP. An interesting stat I found was has connected on 73% of her passes when she was at UTEP. So definitely a strong suit for her, and we talked about the disconnect with passes on these teams, so definitely something that maybe Coach Megan Ryan-Nemser notices and wants to change.
Exactly, and you know, in other sports you don't think, other than maybe football, you don't think of the passes being, you know, extremely crucial, but in soccer that's absolutely the case. That's a big component of the game. You know, that's how you find open people. It's a lot faster than just trying to dribble your way around defenders. That's how you find open people in a really fast amount of time. So passing definitely a crucial element and very important to the success of many teams.
go, go.
Indiana trying to take over outside of the box, but just unable to. And Olivia Rush almost got to it before Smith, but falls right into the hands of Smith. And there's Ava Akil and Malike Days getting all tied up in the box. No foul called there. Both had a lot of contact, so definitely a good no call. Both kind of just hooking arms there. And it's gotten to be a pretty physical game as both teams desperate to get something in the net.
And I think part of the reason why is because the referees don't want to interrupt the flow of the game. You see this in a lot of other sports as well, but especially in soccer. You know, if you cut up the game too much, then no team's really going to have a feel, and it's just going to be a long day for everybody on the field. So I think it's a good call, good no call, whether it was intentional or not by the referees.
Michaela Days with a shot is just a little bit too high up. Days has been really good at getting around Indiana defenders and getting good shots off, but some of them just have not been on target. Here's a replay of her just working around Elena Kalin and gets the ball around her just a little bit lower. Jamie Gerstenberg would have had to work to save that one. Now Gerstenberg with a goal kick. Both teams with 8 shots apiece. Both teams are sitting at the bottom of the Big Ten, outside of the Big Ten tournament. The top 8 teams in women's soccer in the Big Ten make the tournament. Both teams struggling in conference play are not going to get the opportunity to play for a Big Ten tournament title.
And both these teams have very unique situations, too. We talked about, I believe you said 19 new players for this Maryland team. 10 transfers and 9 freshmen, I think, was the number. So an anomaly there for Maryland, but also for Indiana. They have a lot of youngsters on their team who are either newcomers or second-year players, as we have some contact there in the middle of the field. But, you know, these two teams probably knew coming into the season that, you know, a Big Ten title wasn't really in their sights, and I think what they're really trying to do is build towards the future, especially in the case of Indiana with such a young roster. Just trying to get that experience is going to be their main goal going through the rest of the season. As for Maryland, you know, just trying to get the camaraderie between all these new players. You have the 10 transfers, but you also have the 9 freshmen that you need to develop for the future too.
Yeah, we're going to send it back down to Evan Kamiko on the sideline. Evan?
Cruz, you're absolutely right. This was a team last year, this Indiana team, that was pretty much 1 point away from making that top 8. They finished 9th last season. And even though this game doesn't really matter in the Big Ten standings for either of these teams, it does matter a lot for a different reason. Tonight, like you've already mentioned earlier in the broadcast, is the Pink Out Night, the annual breast cancer awareness night. You'll see Indiana's all wearing pink socks. The entire student section who are here are also decked out head to toe in pink. And we asked Coach Van Bennekom a couple days ago, what does this game mean to your team? And he says it means a lot. For him, he doesn't have any direct relation to anybody who's dealing with breast cancer. However, a lot of these players on the team, he said, are dealing with that. So this game means a lot, and to get a win tonight would be really special on a year that the team just hasn't been where they want to be. Sam?
Thanks, Evan. It's definitely a very important night, and it's something that I celebrated in the whole month of October, especially throughout athletics. And Indiana, also a team that, when we talked to Erwin Van Bennekom, just gonna try to kind of look forward and look ahead. This team is young, as we mentioned, and also with Maryland, they have a lot of transfers, so they're learning how to play with each other too. So both of these teams will be able to build on this season and just learning the best play style for each of the teams, and will definitely be something to build off of at the end of this Big Ten season and as we get into the offseason.
Yeah, and experience is the best teacher too. I mean, you know, you bring in so many young players. I mean, you know, especially at the college level, it's going to be like almost like a deer in headlights. You're going to be really trying to figure it out, just the pace of the game and the way the game's played at the next level. You know, most of these players dominated in high school, so you know, it's a real adjustment whenever you go from domination to you're just another head on the field. So experience will definitely be the best teacher going forward for both of these teams and their young cores.
Now Porch tried to get around Black over there and slipped. They're going to call Jordan Levy on the foul. Maryland will get a goal kick and works quickly, starting off aggressive. As Fisher has it for Maryland, getting it off to Lynch. Lynch with the shot as Jamie Gerstenberg just lays on top of it and rolling it out quickly to Camille Ham.
And Indiana is really lucky that Gerstenberg was right there to take that one away. Maryland had a cutter right there to tap that one in, and Gerstenberg read it beautifully and timed it beautifully as well.
Yeah, Madeline Smith wanted a little bit of that action too and got the stop before Abby Eiler could get to the ball, as Camille Ham had a long pass up into the box. Indiana with another foul. Another free kick for the Terrapins. This one being taken by Malachi Days. Both Days sisters have gotten a lot of action in this match so far. Indiana clears that one out. Maryland almost gets it right back. Gerstenberg will just scoop that one up. But back to the Days Twins have both gotten a lot of minutes and seem to just be everywhere on the pitch.
Yeah, they've had a really good day so far today. It seems like every time Maryland is trying to make an attack, those are the two names that are involved. And, you know, iron sharpens iron. They've trained together their whole lives. You know, there's obviously a competitive nature with them. And when you have somebody, like I said earlier in the broadcast, who can challenge you each and every single day, it's no surprise that both of these girls are extremely good at what they do.
Marissa Gresniak is going to come in for the Hoosiers, as Maryland is going to have 3 substitutions. Olivia Hicks coming in, as well as Alina Stahl coming back into the game. Olivia Rush coming out of the match.
Number 11, requested entry, replacing number 9.
Olivia Rush is a freshman that Erwin Van Bennekom has talked about in high. He has been very impressed with her so far this season. Talked about how a lot of times when first-year players and freshmen get to the college level and they play, a lot of the times they plateau and don't really have like a really good start at the beginning and kind of fall off. But he said that she has not done that. He goes, maybe she's plateaued maybe for a half of a game, but has really been strong for Indiana. And he mentioned that she has probably been the biggest impact on the freshman side. Maryland with a really good opportunity, but once again intercepted by Sydney Mazer. I feel like I've said that about 20 times in the broadcast tonight. She has been really good at clearing balls out of the box.
And that was really interesting that Ava Morales didn't try to take a shot on goal there. It looked like, from what I could see, that she had a clear path to the goal and tried to make a pass, but nobody was there for Maryland.
Now Maryland really getting some good looks. So that's going to be Schaefer. Just some miscommunication, it looked like there. I think Schaefer thought that Days was going to cut in.
That's something that both teams are going to have to improve also going into next year. You know, we heard about Erwin Van Bennekom for Indiana talking about communication on the field, and it's the same case for Maryland. You know, great teams have great communicators and great leaders, and you know, that's a big thing that a lot of teams really need to have if they want to be successful. Make sure that everyone's on the same page and that everyone knows what each other are thinking. You know, and that's what builds chemistry in the team as well. That was Marissa Gresiak on the tap out of bounds right there, seeing her 8th game here as in her freshman year, seeing some action. So another freshman that Indiana will have going forward. Good to get her some minutes and some experience here late in this game.
Erwin Van Bennekom did talk about how there were some Indiana players that this would be their last game at Bill Armstrong Stadium. Carly Luker, one of those seniors, hasn't gotten a lot of chances to play this season, and especially in this game, but definitely someone that will be experiencing the last game at Bill Armstrong Stadium, which is always just not the best feeling. As an athlete, it's pretty hard to say goodbye to your sport. Do have one more game traveling to Ann Arbor, though.
Yeah, but it's definitely not the same as being on your home turf. You know, like you think about it. You know, this is not only where you practice. This is where, you know, you make all your memories. You know, you only play every so often in certain road venues. You know, you don't get the emotional attachment there that you do whenever you're at home, which is where you play just about half of your games. And you know, you talk about, you know, Carly Luker going away. We also want to mention Bethany Kopel, graduate student from Novi, Michigan, a very decorated goalkeeper for Indiana, 301 career saves, 25 shutouts, over 4,600 minutes played in goal for Indiana. Will be experiencing her last home game of her career as well. So, you know, and unfortunately for Kopel, not seeing any action so far tonight. But we do wish her all the best as she goes forward after this season.
Yeah, she got some opportunities when Gerstenberg had that red card and was unable to play. Has been with this Indiana program a really long time.
As time winds down here, expect both of these teams to pick up in how aggressive they are and their aggressive nature going down the field, you know, off these goal kicks, but also just trying to be more aggressive and taking shots, probably when you wouldn't typically see them taken so far in the game. You'll probably start seeing some longer shots, probably start seeing some more shots in traffic, just teams trying to get shots on goal, and maybe one of them will fall into the net.
Yeah, we talked about seniors Carly Luker and Bethany Kopel. Another player that is playing her last game on the pitch here at Jerry Yeagley Field is Megan Wampler. Has played a lot for the Hoosiers this season and has been a big impact on defense. And we talked about how good this Indiana defense is, and she has been a big part of that. Has been really good at clearing balls out with headers. As Days is going to have a good shot, but just a little bit too far left. Gerstenberg is going to let that one go out to give another goal kick.
And Amanda Schaefer for Maryland had a great takeaway to set that one up. And unfortunately for the Terrapins, they weren't able to capitalize. Another great opportunity, though, for Maryland, putting pressure on Jamie Gerstenberg in the goal, not letting Indiana get too comfortable here on the defensive end. Because Gerstenberg really hasn't had to do a whole lot of work. She's had 5 saves, but it's been stretched out over a long period of time. And as for Maryland, Smith hasn't seen a whole lot of action lately. Indiana had 5 shots on goal coming into the, or I believe 4 shots on goal coming into the half, and they've only had 1 over the course of the last 30 to 35 minutes or so. So Smith a lot more relaxed here in the second half, but who knows, maybe she'll get some action here as Indiana's looking to attack.
Now 7:30 left. Both teams trying to find the back of the net. Haven't had really any opportunities to get shots off in the second half. Both defenses acting as brick walls.
There's a good example of that right there. Maryland getting another takeaway. This is what we've seen all night. Both defenses have been in passing lanes. They've been able to get tackles that have led out to opportunities, just like this one for Maryland right here.
That's Alina Stahl, Maryland's best scorer. She's going to take the shot herself, is blocked by Megan Wampler, but it's going to fall to Porch. Porch takes the shot. It's too far right, and that's Juliana Lynch.
This is her second time down. She took a shot to her right Achilles earlier in the day off a kick from Izzy Smith that was mistargeted, and we hope she's okay. Face first down on the ground, though, not moving a whole lot. Definitely in some pain.
Yeah, and she's been playing a really physical game. Has fallen to the pitch a few times. In this one, we talked about how physical it was. Have been lucky to not have a big injury yet, but in the final 6 minutes, you just hate to see that. Juliana Lynch, the junior from Baltimore, Maryland, with 1 goal and 3 assists on the year. One of the 2 transfers from West Virginia. One of the 10 transfers on the team that we talked about earlier.
And she was the one who was able to get the assist and the goal that they scored in their last outing against Minnesota. So a key component of this Maryland team down on the pitch right now. You can see her rise just a little bit, still down, sitting on her shins. And a little bit confused right now. Unsure what she's trying to figure out right now as the athletic trainer standing right next to her.
Yeah, I think she's talking to the referee a little bit.
Still unsure also what the injury exactly was. We didn't see Lynch go down initially. And thankfully, it looks like she's okay.
Yeah, and Evan Kamiko might have gotten a better look at it, but we're going to send it down to him for the sideline. Evan?
Yeah, Sam, you're absolutely right. I got a better look at it. It looked like she was trying to draw a foul there and ask what happened. She's physically frustrated on the sideline talking to Coach Nemser right now. We'll get more injury update when I have it, but she looks to be walking. Everything looks to be good for now. So we'll see what happens. 6 minutes to go. Sam?
Thanks so much, Evan. Yeah, we're up high, so a little bit hard to see everything that's going on the field at the same time.
And the biggest thing I think that you have to draw out of that is that she was able to walk off under her own power, whatever her injury might be. You know, the good news is that she's up, walking around along the Maryland bench as well. So good sign if you're the Maryland Terrapins.
Now Gerstenberg, looks like the referees are reviewing it.
And I would think that you would have to review that whenever you do see a player go down, just to make sure that there was nothing intentional involved or anything that was out of the ordinary on the contact. So the exclamation going to the Maryland bench right now, and Maryland looking a little bit frustrated with the call.
Yeah, the referee is shaking her head, saying that maybe she didn't see anything. The team very frustrated with that call. Juliana Lynch was visibly frustrated about it. Now, the referee talking to Erwin Van Bennekom. Whole lot of confusion on the sideline. Now Erwin shaking his head. Just a little bit of confusion. And Evan is going to have a little bit more as he is way closer to Erwin Van Bennekom than we are. Evan, what do you got?
And about the time, his assistant coach was signaling to his watch. The injury happened about 6:38, so it'll be interesting if they give them a couple of seconds back, because right now the clock is set to 6 minutes and 33 seconds remaining. The referees are going to be talking right now, so we'll see what happens. But I would expect about 5 or 6 seconds back. But again, you know, we'll see, and I'll have a bit more in just a moment, Sam.
Thanks, Evan. Looks like Juliana Lynch is going to come back into the game. good sign for Maryland to see her be able to get back up immediately after taking a tough hit. Looks like there is no time added onto the clock. Stays at 6:33. Izzy Smith's pass is taken away. And Alyssa Porch falls to the ground hard, kind of did a little sweeping action of her foot. That's going to be a foul on Izzy Smith. Here's a replay of that. Just kind of locked feet. It's happened a lot in this match so far. And now just bodies are constantly hitting the pitch. Like I mentioned, getting into the desperate time, under 6 minutes for both teams, being a lot more aggressive physically.
Jamie Gerstenberg's frustrated right now. She was frustrated with Indiana running down the pitch, not really in the places that they need to be, and they turn it over in result of that.
Izzy Smith now tried to get it up to Anna Bennett, but was unsuccessful. Olivia Smith over to Camille Ham. Intercepted easily by Maryland though, as Fisher has it. Fisher gonna get it off to Porch. Porch taking it out herself and is gonna give it to Stahl. Stahl with the shot, and it's in! Maryland scores with under 5 minutes left, and now Indiana will only have 4 minutes and 40 seconds to have an equalizer. Jamie Gerstenberg did the splits there to try to stop it, but just did not know where that shot was coming from Stahl. Now her 5th goal of the season. Talked about her a lot, and she really hasn't been, she's been kind of quiet in this game so far. Hasn't gotten a whole lot of shot opportunities, but when she does get shot opportunities, they're shot opportunities like that.
Yeah, and it's a wonder that Stahl was so quiet. Whenever she was at West Virginia, she was on the 2021 All Big 12 first team. So a really solid player. And like I said earlier in the broadcast, it was whoever had the opportunities and whoever could capitalize on those opportunities would be the team that could come out on top potentially in this game. And we just saw that right there. Maryland had the opportunity and they made sure to convert. And it was a big time goal. And Maryland up 1-0 now with under 5 minutes to go and in the driver's seat in this one.
Mia Isaac coming into the game for the Terrapins. Indiana does not have a whole lot of time to find an equalizer, just 4 minutes and 40 seconds to do so. They're gonna call a foul on Maryland, so Indiana with the chance to try to set something up. Indiana was knocking on the door of getting a goal in the first half, but has not been that way in the second half at all, and Maryland has taken over possession-wise in the second half. Wampler gets the kick into the box, but it bounces out to Camille Ham. Ham unable to get to it to keep it in.
I'd go for a hot dog.
Under 4 minutes to go, Indiana's really gonna have to be aggressive. Unfortunately for the Hoosiers, they have the ball. Unfortunately for them, they have under 4 minutes to make something happen, which is not a lot of time. Indiana's gonna have to be ultra aggressive here down the final 3.5 minutes.
Gets the cross into Weber, but Weber can't get a head on it. That's gonna be a shot by Kaylin, but just not strong enough to get past Madeline Smith.
Indiana's gonna have to have a takeaway if they wanna have a shot at it. Maryland's gonna have to try to play keep away.
They haven't had any issues with that in the second half. And the momentum definitely shifted. I talked about it might shift after the second half of the first half was in Maryland's favor, and that definitely was the case. As Hallie Johnson going to come into the game for the Terrapins.
And the substitution, I would assume, to waste a little bit of time off the clock for Maryland. A really strategic but a good substitution by Megan Ryan Nemser to try to waste a little bit of time, although they turn it over, which gives Indiana another opportunity.
Izzy Smith comes up holding her head. She takes it's gonna be a yellow card. But yeah, Hallie Johnson coming in for the Terrapins, was on the CAA all-rookie team in 2021 for UNC Wilmington. That yellow card is on Alyssa Porch for unsporting. Megan Wampler taking the free kick for the Hoosiers.
This might be Indiana's best shot down the stretch. Let's see what they can get here.
Get into the box, but there's just a whole lot of nothing going on. Neither team gets a foot on it, but Maryland does first and clears it. Indiana not able to get a good foot or head on it. So that one is kicked up behind Weber. Now Weber's the only white short around there. And Maryland definitely had the height advantage over her. Not able to get ahead on it.
I was a little confused on why Indiana didn't pull it out just a little bit earlier. They kept just putting headers, little bitty bouncers right back into the Maryland line instead of just pulling it out and trying to get something set up.
Yeah, and size is not on Indiana's side. It's been something all year. They've tried to win headers but have really struggled to do so. And Maryland now just not letting anything go into the box and doing a really good job at playing keep away with just 1:30 left. Now for Indiana to try to find that equalizer.
And this is where Maryland's defense is going to have to hold strong. They've relied on it their whole game, and now they have to step up big time.
Ham gets it in as Olivia Smith trying to track it down. Ham gets into Weber. Weber can't get a good foot on it. But now Kaylin is going to track it down. 1 minute remaining as Kaylin gets it up, but it's deflected by Maryland. Good defense there by Johnson, or by Schaefer. And they're going to call that foul on Elena Kaylin. And now Maryland has a good opportunity to just milk that clock. Yeah, Kaylin just getting into the back of Schaefer. Schaefer kind of throwing herself to the ground there.
It was a smart play by Schaefer, though, because she got the call, though. And I mean,
definitely,
you know, going down the stretch, you know, that's a big time play by Schaefer because it wastes probably about a half minute off the clock.
Now 15 seconds left. Ten seconds left. Camille Ham going short into Izzy Smith. Smith trying to get into the box, and it is going to be deflected. Maryland comes away with the 1-0 victory over Indiana and beats the Hoosiers for the first time since 1994. We talked about it. We weren't even